many of us like to start the year off with grand plans about all of the goals and accomplishments that we're going to tackle throughout the year? Show of hands. I cannot be the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one. What we won't talk about, though, is how many of those goals we don't actually complete by the end of the year. We're not talking about that in today's video. Today's video is all about the goals that I have for my home in 2020. And I'm also going to go through a few tips on how you can create goals for yourself, and also a really fun tool to help us both to make sure we complete those goals and that we follow through to the end of the year to really get things done. Be sure to stick around until the end of this video because I do have a freebie that I want to share with you all. It'll be a tool to kind of help us both make sure we get those goals completed throughout the year. All right, so my number one goal is to actually get some things done because we need to actually get things done. The big, huge elephant in the room is the fact that I had plans and projects that I started in 2019 that still aren't finished. But honestly, projects that probably started before 2019 that are still unfinished because I'm not the best finisher when it comes to home goals. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I probably get distracted and I move on to something else. But, no one beats me in starting. I can start a goal. I'm a good starter. The follow through and the finishing is where I need help when it comes to my home. So definitely that's my top goal. I want to start off the year by specifying what areas I want to work on, how I'm going to tackle those areas in different pieces and parts and steps to make it seem like it's not such a daunting task. But that's absolutely what I want to do. I want to finish up some projects around here. There's actually a blog post I put together a few months ago, which I'll link down below, that shows a few areas of my home that are pretty unsightly. Things you will never see, in a pretty Instagram post, but things that I have going on around here that still need to be completed. So how can we stay on top of these goals to make sure they get completed? I'm pretty sure the answer is to strategize. So that is my plan for this year. I'm going to strategize how I'm going to tackle these goals. Like I said, I'm going to list out the major areas of concern or the specific project or specific rooms that I kind of want to pull together, and then break that down into phases. And these phases can be by week, it can be by area or section of the room, however I choose to plot it out. I'm going to break that down and then under each phase, list out the steps or the tasks needed to complete that phase. This breaks each project down into actionable steps, so it feels much easier to get it completed. It doesn't feel like a huge, daunting task at the outset, which can definitely discourage some of us, but breaking it down makes it more digestible and easier to manage. And when you create these projects for yourself or these goals to complete the projects, really think about deadlines. Do you want to set a deadline? Some of us struggle with setting an exact date. Some of us thrive off of that pressure. Like, we know we need to get this completed by a specific date. Maybe you want to set deadlines for your project. Maybe you want to determine the exact budget that you're going to spend for your projects, because I know that that's a place that can get a little shaky if you don't really have a budget set and then you kind of exceed what you thought you might want to spend on this room or this project. So maybe setting a deadline would be helpful. Setting a budget would be helpful. Also determining what other support or what other help you're going to need in completing this project. Maybe it seems like a simple DIY, but there could be an electrical component that you're not comfortable with and you just need to get an electrician to come in and change out a light fixture or something of the sort. So you really want to break it down and kind of understand all of the things that are going to be needed to complete the project so that you're not thrown off or distracted when it comes time for you to actually call a plumber. You don't want to just scrap the whole project and move on to something else like some of us sometimes do. So listing out all of that at the outset could definitely be helpful in making sure we complete these projects. Using a template similar to the one I'm showing here would definitely be key in making sure these tasks get done according to plan. And as always, checking things off a list is always encouraging. just knowing that, okay, I completed these 5 tasks, I only have 2 more to go, it's definitely encouraging for me at least, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of other people, to make sure we finish these tasks and we get these projects done through completion. My next goal for 2020 is that I really want to declutter. We're coming up on the 10th anniversary that we've actually been in my home, and there are areas and storage bins and things that I probably have not touched since we moved in almost 10 years ago. That to me is absolutely ridiculous, and it pretty much means whatever's hiding in those storage bins is garbage, therefore clutter and just taking up unnecessary space. So I want to tackle those areas that I don't see often. That's probably why I've allowed the clutter to just stay there, because I don't access these areas often. So that may be certain sections of my basement. That could be things in my attic. That could be, there's like a little storage room or storage area underneath the stairs that we don't look in all that often. Places like those that are kind of hidden out of view, but that I know there's some things in there that I need to get rid of. I do have some previous videos all about decluttering and organization that I'll link up above, and I will be taking my own advice to make sure I put those tips to use in clearing the spaces in my home. And just like with my previous goal of completing projects that I have around the house, I'm going to treat this like a project. I'm going to break it down into actionable steps. So I'll break it down into specific rooms or specific areas and give myself timelines or a time frame in which I want to get it completed. And if you wanted to do this yourself, you could use a similar kind of template. For example, you would say, I want to declutter some of the areas in my kitchen, for example. Okay, so kitchen is our main area of focus. And then we'll break that down to maybe the pantry and the cabinets. So using the pantry as an example, maybe 1 week you want to focus on all the bulk items that you might have. You know, we all love those big box stores where we go buy like 50 pounds of rice. We need to store all the bulk items. So maybe you want to clear that out, or maybe get some better storage containers for those items. But the first week you might focus on the bulk items. The next week you may move on to clearing out any of the older items in your pantry, maybe an old box of cereal or some old grains, but you get the idea. Using cabinets as an example, maybe the first week you'll focus on all of the cabinets above like your refrigerator and microwave area. So those might be cabinets that you don't access very often, and maybe they have some small appliances in there or just things that can be tossed. So that could be 1 week. And then the next week you can focus on those food storage containers, where we all know every now and then we end up with more lids than containers, or more containers than lids, and we need to get that organized and assess if you need to buy more. So that's how you break up the task of decluttering your kitchen. So the kitchen is the main area, and then we break it down into phases or into areas of that specific room using the template provided. And when I say using the template provided, that's what brings us to the freebie that I mentioned. So the template that you see me using in the video, I'm actually going to have linked down below as a freebie. All you need to do is click on that link, enter in your email address, and I will send that downloadable PDF directly to you. And as you can see in the video, I'm using mine in my planner because I do have a home section in my main planner. By the way, I will be posting a 2020 planner update video for all of you people who love planners just like I do. And you'll see a little more detail about what I do have in the home section and also what I have in my planner in general. But I did resize this so that it could fit into my planner nicely. And I obviously punched holes so I can just leave it in there, switch them out whenever I need to, or organize them by room, however I choose to do it. So you can plan out your projects yourself using my free printable available down below. Using this template to break the task down gives you a bit more breathing room, a bit more flexibility in understanding how long it's going to take you to complete a project, and also just giving you a better understanding of what steps are needed to get it done. It takes project planning from being way too overwhelming to being much more manageable. My next home goal for 2020 is to get a better handle on our sentimental items or keepsakes, or I'm not sure what I would call them, but I'm referencing photos. So of course I want to do better at organizing our photos because we have so many that live on devices or phones that we really don't print off. And also we have so many that are printed and we don't do anything with them. Like nobody ever sorts through them. So I really want to get a better handle on that. I have some, actual 4x6 photos from when we were children that I do want to keep, and I want to arrange in nice photo albums. I also might want to make photo albums myself of my kids and photos that we've taken on digital cameras and phones over the years, so that we can have it in a place where they can look at their baby pictures. So I want to get better at photo organization. Also, I do have things that need to be framed. So I have other sentimental items that need to be framed, like diplomas, degrees, things of that nature. I'm pretty sure maybe like some photos that really mean a lot to me that I want to actually get professionally framed. Because if I'm being honest, I don't know where some of my degrees and diplomas are. Like, I know they're in the house. They're somewhere. I just can't remember exactly where I put them because I'm always stashing things away and I don't always remember what I did with them. But I'll find them and I will get them framed and maybe hung someplace in my home. So that's definitely what I want to focus on for 2020. And my next home goal for 2020 is that I really want to entertain more. My husband and I are not social butterflies, which is perfectly fine. If we're invited out, we'll definitely go, but we never really have the thought often of inviting people over to just hang out, and that could be friends or family. We don't do enough entertaining, I think. And some things that probably stopped me from doing that over the years is if I'm saying, oh, my bathroom isn't finished, or, I want to finish some other space, or just having this idea or unrealistic idea of perfection that needed to be completed before inviting people over to just have fun and to just hang out. And as I think about it, of course, it's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous because the people I'm inviting over that I want to spend time with and that I want to hang out with are not judging my bathroom. It's just not happening. Like, those are not the people I'm inviting into my home. So I really do want to focus on entertaining more and to make sure I'm putting that social interaction above the idea of having perfect spaces. That is extremely important and probably a topic I would like to get into more in future videos. I think all of these goals are probably topics I will cover more in future videos. And also, I want to challenge myself or make this declaration that I'm going to do a follow-up 2020 home goals video, maybe like around June, to see how I'm doing and what headway I'm making on these goals that I've established. That would be fun. It would also be a little bit scary because it's holding myself accountable. So that's probably what I need to do. All right, those are my main home goals for 2020. I'm pretty sure I have other smaller ones, but those are the main ones. If you have any or have thought of any during the process of this video, please leave me a note down below. I like to talk about it. If you want to strategize how to get this goal done, maybe I can help you figure that plan out as well. Leave me a comment down below about what your goals are going to be. Maybe some goals that you were able to accomplish this past year. Definitely, toot your own horn. We all like to do that now and then. And don't forget that free Printable, that project planner Printable, is linked down below. And also there are some additional organization and decluttering videos linked in the cards up above that you can check out. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.